Hey guys, my opponent is NrGdde with 3911 points, 512 wins, 341 losses. He is number 4 in rank on the North American server right now. And here we are. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. I usually say that at the end, but I felt like saying it at the beginning this time around. I am PsyStarcraft. Of course, I'm casting a game of myself this time around. vilePsY in the bottom as the green Zerg versus NrGdde in the right as the red Terran. Now, this isn't a ladder map. You can tell because I chose my color and also because I seldom ladder. I'm more of a custom games practice guy and a tournament guy. But we have the tournament game here. It's going to be StarCraft Reddit Open number 21. Reddit, of course, a great source for news, humor, all sorts of stuff, information. And the StarCraft Reddit is starcraft.reddit.com. Check it out. I might stick a link in the description if I remember. But this is the round of 16. I've already eliminated 3 different opponents, I believe. And now I'm going up against NrGdde, 4th best player in the United States based on ranking. And he's part of NrG, which is a really good team. I played him before, and he actually beat me in the past, so hopefully I can get some revenge here in this game. Close positions, though. The map is Lost Temple. Close positions, not good for Zerg. Terran, I mean, look at this. You're out in your expo, and then like 3 steps later, you are putting pressure on your opponent here, so it sucks for Zerg. And, you know, as a Zerg in close position, you might try to go an aggressive route or do something different than the typical Ling, Baneling, Muta. And we'll see if I give that a shot in this game. Drone now going out to scout. Overlord, of course, missing him in the western position because he's not there. Can't scout something that's not there, people. 15 hatch. Now, 15 hatch against a 2 racks in close positions. This could end up very badly. I am scouting it, however, so I won't over drone. I'm not going to get like 17 drones or anything like that before I get a spawning pool. But I'm going to have to save up some larvae. If you see a 2 racks and you're in close positions especially, save up some larvae. You know, you can drone up a little bit, but then once your pool's about halfway, start saving the larvae. You're probably going to want a spine crawler. Just one spine crawler on Lost Temple because the choke is quite narrow going into your expansion. And that'll fend off a lot of early marine aggression. So try not to overreact. You don't want like 15, 16 lings and a spine, you know, maybe 1 spine and 10 or less lings if you can manage that. Of course, you have to adapt based on what he sends. It looks like DDE isn't going to be trying any kind of bunker play, nothing around my expansion, and that's really unusual. Usually when you see a 2 hatch or a 2 racks build, you see SCVs going in and trying to bunker up, but I think he actually scouted the wrong direction. Yeah, it looks like he scouted me last, so that might hinder his chances at bunkering me or anything like that. He is sending down the SCV. I don't know if he's going to try to throw down a bunker. There goes the spine. Not placing it directly out in front. It's a little more vulnerable out in front. I'm choosing to place it on the side. Still protecting this hatchery. There's a slight path right here that the Marines could run by, but I don't know if they'll try to do that. 4 lings coming out as well as 2 queens. Spine halfway finished. I now have 6 lings. And he's going to run 8 lings now, and he's going to run with these 3 Marines. And you can see, as my spine is completing, I feel comfortable making drones. So I am making 2 more drones, another drone on the way. And for now, my ling production has subsided just because I saw his Marine count. I saw he had about 3 or 4. I still know he's going 2 racks, but I feel safe. Spines are insanely good against Marines, you guys. They have 2 armor, Marines have 6 damage. And so, of course, they only do 4 damage to Spines. The Spines have 300 life. And they 2-shot Marines when they don't have combat shields. So 1 spine, very, very nice. Only made 8 lings, and that's actually pretty good. Am I going to lose one? Yes, I do lose one. A bit careless right there. It's hard to react in time. You got to keep your eye on the minimap, man. Fleeing with this Overlord, and I did see that ling count, or that Marine count, and it's forcing me to throw down another spine crawler. Of course, he can overpower this spine if he just keeps on rallying Marines, which he is doing right now. We are seeing a command center from DDE. And if we check out the drones, 25 to 22, so I didn't go out of that 2 racks build too far behind in the harvesters. I'm actually ahead right now, 22 to 24. But you have to take into account that the Terran player is constantly dropping mules. And if we look at the income, it's still fairly even. This mule it's probably going to shoot him a little bit higher. Lots of Marines though, man. That's a lot of Marines. Now, because he's getting so many Marines, his tech is going to be slightly slower, especially because he expanded. So we're not even seeing a factory yet. We're just seeing another racks. And he might just try an infantry push to keep the Zerg on their toes. It's what a lot of Terran players do. You kind of have to do it against the Zerg, otherwise they'll just drone up so hard. And I'm getting a Roach Warden in the meantime. Spawning pool, not researching any link speed, so already we're seeing something slightly unusual from a Zerg player. Oh, run! Losing 2 more Zerglings, and it looks like he's going to try to snipe the creep tumor. I do cancel that creep tumor. And I can't spread creep, man. He's got control of the tower. It's almost impossible to take that tower against this number of Marines without forfeiting a lot of, you know, Zerglings or Banelings or whatever you choose to attack with. So I'm having a difficult time spreading creep. 2 Spine Crawlers now up. His expansion is up and running. If we check the Harvesters, 35 to 29, so I do have a slight lead still. Nice economic advantage, actually, about 200 minerals or so higher even with the Mules. Now pushing up slightly further with the Marines. Are we seeing Stimpack? Yes. Stimpack and a couple more Marauders being added. He is researching Stimpack here, and he's getting a 4th barrack, so a lot of barracks. Beautiful, beautiful scan, sniping all 3 creep tumors I had, and I don't have a 3rd queen right now, so it's going to be hard to replace those, especially with the Marines out there. He is backing up, however, and I couldn't really get aggressive because I didn't research that link speed. I went the Roach route this game, and we are seeing +1 on the Roaches and Roach speed. Now, a lot of times Zergs will get Roaches because they fear Hellions or because the Terran's doing some kind of all-in, and you can't wait for mutas. But I'm trying a new build. vileHawk has kind of made me familiar with this build. It's a Roach Hydra build. You can see right here the Hydra's coming out with heavy upgrades, and it's really, really great for taking out early to mid-game 2-base Terran compositions. But if you don't have a very deliberate plan after using the Roach Hydras and killing their army, it kind of loses its effectiveness in the later game. And we're going to see how I utilize the Roach's Hydras in the future here of this game. 5 more Roaches. I am getting a bit scared right now. I've only got 4 Roaches and 2 Spines. I see his expansion is down, but I know he has a you know, a lot of forces out there at the tower. He is going to move in. Right now I just have 4 Roaches, 5 Roaches, 7 more being produced, as well as a Hydra, but he has a lot of infantry with Stimpack. He is moving in. I've got to do what I can to try to protect these Spines. He does focus down the first Spine. 1 Queen in the action as well. Lots of Roaches going down. Forced to pull off my drones. So many infantry. Once the stim runs out, however, the tide could turn. There goes the stim. If he stims again, his infantry are going to be so weak. Mismanages the Queen there, and she does go down. More Roaches rallying out. No +1 on the Roaches, but luckily their high hit points make Marines not very effective against Roaches. So, you know, his units survived for a long time, but I was able to rally out enough Roaches to push it off. And surprisingly, I didn't lose that many drones. You guys saw that I had to send them out, but I didn't lose too many. I've only got a couple guys on gas. I hope I fix that soon enough. But still, I had 51 to 43. Now, this is kind of what I mean. Roach Hydra are really good at fending off that composition. If he tries to just keep pushing out the infantry and going in with that, he's going to lose. So how does DDE respond to that? 2 factories. Very, very smart play. And like I said, if he tries to push out, especially with +1 on my Roaches, it's just not going to work. Even without creep spread for my Hydras, man, he's still going to lose a lot of units. 2 more Marines going down, not even able to pick off a Roach. He did get a Hydra just a moment ago and forced to flee back into his base. 2 bunkers up, building a 3rd bunker. Now, I can't really attack into 3 bunkers. Now, like I said earlier, you can either have a plan after you go Roach Hydra and you push off, or you can try to finish the game. And we're going to see what I do here in a moment. Should probably expand, actually. Should probably take a 3rd base. DDE is searching for a 3rd base with his SCV. Meanwhile, his 2 factories have completed, 54 to 48 harvester count, and we'll likely see some siege tanks out of that yet. So he's responding very well to this mass ground play. Siege tank, and a tech lab researching siege mode. While I have good saturation, but I'm continuing just to pump the Hydra Roach army, and once he hits a critical mass of tanks, that could be pretty dangerous. I am 1-1 compared to his 0-0, I believe. Yeah, but he's got a lot of bunkers, and, you know, I can't harass like with mutas. I can't really push in the front. I can't drop. I could drop, but it just didn't occur to me to actually try a drop. Looks like I am moving in 4 bunkers, Marauders, Marines inside of each of these bunkers. And notice if he does stim, yes, he does stim inside the bunkers. Very good move. A lot of players don't notice that you can't stim from inside the bunkers. Overseer for spotting. Lots of Hydras, Roaches. I do have him beat on upgrades, but there's just so many infantry, and I attacked into tons of bunkers. And in hindsight, obviously that was a huge mistake. Not a good idea to attack into 4 bunkers, but if they're, look, I killed everything. I killed everything but 7 units, even with these bunkers, and that shows you the power of Hydra Roach Oh boy, you need to get out of there. That Roach does get away. Not a successful exchange for me though. Units lost, I am behind, and now I'm choosing to expand after losing my entire army, after taking an upper hand in the harvester count. And it was just kind of a rookie mistake. Shouldn't have done that. I do have a lot of Roaches. He's not going to be able to push. I killed almost his entire army. But, you know, in the meantime, lots of tanks coming out, and that's really scary. Tanks against Roaches, not fun to be the Roaches in that situation. Not feeling any need to replace these bunkers after destroying my entire army. He's actually unloading. Wouldn't be surprised if he salvaged them. Siege tanks, of course, can't siege up now. Siege mode is researched. And another disadvantage of having these cross positions is there's not really any amazing place to expand for Zerg, so I am choosing the expansion of the 9 o'clock position. Overlord might get sniped. No, Overlord. Third command center. Of course, he's going to want to bust down these rocks and place that there. As a Terran, you want to expand towards your opponent in ZVT. Not sure about PVT or not. These Roaches are positioned above the watchtower to try to get a flank in. They are just out of range of the sight of the watchtower. But check out the production tab. What do you guys see there? We see a sensor tower. Perfect positioning on the sensor tower. He's going to notice any flank coming at him. Scanning. Choosing not to push in. And that's a really smart move. A lot of Terran will just stay on 2-base forever. And 2-base Terran, I'm really comfortable with 2-base Terran. If Terran maintain their army, don't lose any units, and expand, that's really hard to deal with. I think a lot of Terran need to try to experiment with that more. But this can see my Roaches, and that's just so annoying, man. Terran are already so good, and they have a tower that can see where your units are and what they're doing all the time. He's trying to secure this high yield. I am moving my Hydras out. I feel a little safer now that I was able to take the middle. I was able to take the watchtower. And check out the harvesters. I need to start saturating this base. And cue the aim sign off. His army actually isn't that bad right now. I think if I moved out right now, I could win. But, you know, I'm going to win a little bit later. Or try to win a little bit later. I might have even been able to counterattack, but it would have been dangerous to run past these tanks here. So many upgrades going down on this production tab. He is kind of fumbling back and forth with his infantry, producing more tanks, +1 armor on his infantry. A couple of Roaches trying to snipe a Marauder running across. It didn't really happen. So we have a bit of a standoff right here. I can't spread creep because these tanks will most likely shoot it down, and he keeps scanning it and killing it. I don't have a third queen. Always a nice investment to get that third queen. And now I'm finally trying to saturate. We are about even on harvesters, but he is just seconds away from taking this gold. Where is that? There's that orbital command. He's going to be floating that down pretty quick. And now, as a means to compensate for not having any creep, I'm going to send out some overlords and poop some creep. 69 harvesters now. Back to the production tab. +2 on my Roaches and Hydras. No armor yet. More drones being produced. And do we even have a... Yeah, we do have a starport. He's now making 2 medevacs. Oh, he's got lots of medevacs. Silly me. And trying to take a forward position with these tanks. He really wants to... Oh, there goes Skype. Man, Skype and aim. Come on, Zy, close your programs, you freaking noob. Finally takes the tower, snipes 1 overlord. Second overlord will get away. And I'm just sitting on 200-200. I've been on 200-200 for a long time. My expansion was late. I chose to expand after killing his entire army and then attacking and losing my army. And that was kind of a... well, shit, what do I do now? I lost my army. Oh, I'll expand. When it should have been, oh, I just stopped his attack here. I'll expand. And so that was kind of a mistake, but it's going to be difficult breaking this Terran contain, man. He's got like 9 tanks spread out all over the middle of the map. He's about to take the high yield. He does have the high yield. He's about to saturate it. I do have the harvester count lead, but as far as unit compositions go, 200-200 Zerg armies are about as worse as it gets. I'd say a 200-200 Zerg army, especially of this composition compared to this composition, would probably lose to about a 150 Protoss or Terran army. Another queen venturing out, doing who knows what, running at some Roaches to get revenge. Damn you, Marines, why'd you kill that queen? She was trying to spread creep. +1 on the tanks will allow them to one-shot any lings in play. Now we're seeing the infestation pit. Now we're seeing an auxiliary hatchery and a drop from DDE. Unfortunately, I don't have any spines or anything. I have 3,000 minerals, 1,600 gas because I've been maxed out for so long. Roach is very cheap considering their food count, 2 food. And that allows you to max out early, which isn't always a good thing because you feel like you need supply for flying units or infestors or rulers or something like that. And I just haven't made any kind of commitment towards any tech route. So we can see him just slowly being strangled, and it's going to take a lot to bust out of this. Hydra's just carelessly being shot at. Where'd those roaches go? Oh, there's the roaches. Here we go. Lots of roaches in these ventral sacs. I did research that, and I've got a double prong coming up here. Hydra's trying to take out these marauders up there. I am dropping on top of the tanks, taking out 4 tanks. Another overlord wants to drop on top of these tanks. Hydra's pushing from the northern side. Oh, my Zerg unit's getting just annihilated. 37 roaches coming out. I still have 1,300 money, but all those overlords did supply cap me when they went down. And man, even if the roaches are 2-2, it's going to be hard to coordinate them all together. I've got a lot swarming in from the north, and he's got medevacs, and it's just not looking good. Roach is not very good against MM. They need hydras in the mix. So many just funneling themselves on the ramp, trying to attack all at once. Here comes the ones from the north. I am getting in, taking out a tank down there, but they have all been wiped out from this expansion. Broodlings want in, they want to fight. And these drones are just doing who knows what, I don't even know. These roaches up here are not doing too bad though, picking off a lot of reinforcements, 5 tanks, a lot of marines stemming up, but not going to do a whole lot to these roaches. The real damage dealers are these tanks. 3 roaches in the mineral line. Meanwhile, we do have lots of marauders just wreaking havoc everywhere. And a GG. You saw these marines up here as well, denying this gas up here. But I feel like I had the advantage in that game. It was really frustrating just being slowly choked out, but it was completely my fault. You don't push into 4 bunkers. I mean, yes, I overcommitted on units instead of expanding because I knew I wanted to attack, but I saw 4 bunkers and I was like, oh my gosh, well, I made all these units, I better attack anyway. Terrible mistake. I could have nidused. I could have gotten ventral sacs and speed a lot faster. There was an opening right here, I believe, in the early game where I could have nidused. Or I could have just expanded, attacked into broodlords, expanded, you know, gone some other route, ultras or something like that. But instead I did the worst thing possible, attacking into a fortification. And not expanding after having such a lead here when I had to pull out my drones. I was pretty far ahead, but I hope you guys learned a lot from this game. Roach Hydra can work against Terran. You just have to have a follow-up plan. And you can't attack them directly, especially when they transition into tanks. So, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. And try not to queue up 4 tanks on a factory either. So, that's it. Hey guys, my opponent's going to be DDE. Fuck, Fishy. What the hell, man?